You are now watching the Queen Chioma.
So hey guys, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video.
Nigga, pay attention.
So hey guys, don't even think about clicking off. So we have a black female owned business to start off today's video. So introducing Everythingxebony hair products. This business is based in Cincinnati, Ohio, and is a vegan friendly natural hair care brand. Everythingxebony prides themselves on providing prestige hair care products for women with type 4 hair. All of their products are created to help with growth and manageability. The Everythingxebony brand has two owners, and both women are extremely passionate about natural hair care, and I can tell. So these beautiful ladies gave me my own discount code to give to my subscribers, which is Chioma15 for 15% off of your first purchase. So let's take a look at these products. So first and foremost, it's the presentation for me. Like, I love the array of products, I love the colors, and I really love the logo. So the first product I got was the marshmallow root curling smoothie. Really smells like marshmallow, super sweet, and I love the texture of this product. Then I got the Shebe and olive oil sealing hair butter. This hair butter is really moisturizing, and as you guys can see, it's super shiny, so it leaves your hair with a beautiful glow. Then I got the jojoba and peppermint stimulating growth oil. It's almost like any other growth oil, but I love that it has the nozzle tip so you can get right into your scalp. Next thing I got was the hemp seed and coconut leave-in conditioner. I love leave-in conditioner for my natural hair. I use it every day to keep my hair moisturized. It was light, nothing too heavy to weigh the hair down. And the last product I got was the aloe and castor oil flaxseed defining gel, which I'm going to show you guys how it's used. So as you guys see, my hair model is my little sister. She has 4C natural hair. We sectioned off her hair. She doesn't really wear that many wigs. Her hair is usually always natural. So after sectioning off her hair, I wet it and I made sure I detangled it with a brush because she is really tender-headed. I used the leave-in conditioner just to moisturize her hair because her hair can get really dry. I then made sure I combed that product off through the roots of her hair from root to tip. The next step I did was add in the defining gel to the hair that we just sectioned off, detangled, and lathered. I used the oil just to give it some shine because again, her hair can get super duper dry. After that, I did a 2-strand twist and we let it sit just for a little bit. And just for comparison, she did twist another similar section of her hair. And as you guys can see, there's a super huge difference in the shine, the luster, and how the product absorbs into her hair. And the last thing that we did is we unraveled it after some time. And as you guys can see, it definitely defines your hair really well. So my sister loved the products. Here's a length check. Her hair is super long and she actually stole these products from me and is going to be using them on her natural hair. So you can check out everything down below for Everythingxebony hair. Guys, let's support this small up-and-coming black-owned business, especially if you're a natural hair girl. The products smell great. They give you good quantity, and both my sister and I enjoyed the product. I'm finally back on camera after like months of not being on camera. I have been going through a lot with moving, relocating, trying to get a business up and running to the point where it just really wasn't that easy or practical for me to be shooting on camera. So I'm happy that I can finally get back to doing some on-camera content. I know some of y'all miss seeing my face. I know that there's some of y'all that have probably been subscribed to me for a while that really don't even know what I look like for real, other than the pictures that I post. So I'm back and I wanted to start a new series on my channel where certain topics that I don't feel like deserve like a full-length video, or it may be something that I've already talked about, gets a quick mention in a shorter or condensed version. So I have 3 topics here tonight that I feel like are pretty trendy, recent, that I really do want to discuss. So let's get right into this video. So the first topic is Ken and De'Ara from DK4L YouTube couple channel seemingly finally calling it quits. Now, I already did a video on this months ago about how Ken cheated on De'Ara, where he did something that was considered like really inappropriate in a public setting. If you guys don't know, he basically was touching and feeling up on another girl outside of some form of parking lot, and it got caught on camera. It got sent to all of the blogs and everybody saw it. And it was really bizarre because people really looked at them and envisioned them to be like the embodiment of young black love. They never were in too many scandals. They never are really seen as doing too much. They're not like extremely explicit, but they're also like really user friendly, meaning like anybody could watch their content, from a kid to a teenager to an adult. So Ken and De'Ara have low-key been kind of creeping up on the blogs as of recent, because Ken, for whatever reason, has not stopped cheating on De'Ara, allegedly. I will say this, I personally feel like what has happened is that he's just finally being exposed for what type of guy that he kind of is. As a young man, I'm not saying that it's impossible to be faithful, because that's just not true. There are a lot of faithful young men that are in relationships, but I feel like Ken in particular, his whole brand and his whole like young adult adolescence has been tied to being in a relationship. And it may have sounded good from the beginning when you're in that honeymoon happy stage where everything is like really cute, and they kind of blew up kind of quick. They were really trending and popular on Twitter back in the day. They started doing their YouTube channel, they started making like hella money from it, and then it catapulted them into the brand that we know today as DK4L. So Ken recently got called out for being on live. He was allegedly drunk, and he was just kind of commenting and making inappropriate comments towards a woman that you really shouldn't be saying if you're in a relationship.
Yeah, what y'all put no mask for? Y'all finna go entertain some motherfuckers? Y'all finna go to a club?
That's outside.
Pay y'all to wear masks to go outside.
Because we're going to heroin.
What, y'all live in a penthouse or some shit?
He does, yes.
Shit, let me see. Let me see the penthouse. Give me a tour. Give me a tour. Whoever owns this shit, give me a tour.
AK, what did you delete? Somebody commented some crazy shit.
Who? Yeah, Taylor, tell Taylor do me a murder walk while she walking.
Where's Danny? Danny,
she already
still
walking.
in here?
Tell her do me a murder while she walking.
Lele still in here?
Why do we have our masks on right now?
So then Ken took to his Instagram after all of the backlash, because De'Ara took fiance out of her bio on Instagram, which got people thinking like, damn, what's going on? So he took to Instagram to say the following. So Ken says, at some point y'all will realize that constantly attacking someone's character and actions despite not knowing what happens behind closed doors is wrong. You all assume you know everything, but in reality, you know nothing. You want me to be the bad guy? Fine. You run without a context, clips instead of watching the full thing just for a few views and sound bites, and for what? For what reason? My entire stream knew what was happening and we had a good time, and that was 2 weeks ago. But I guess the content well dried up and I became the only option. Hope it was worth it, but this a reminder to anyone looking to start a career online. People with flaws and invisible mistakes will blow up your flaws and mistakes to make themselves feel better and will paint your image around it. I wish everyone well, as I always have. Never wanted to be in drama, but somehow found my way into it, and that's something I take full responsibility for. Ish happens sometimes and we don't always have to understand it, but instead live with it. I love myself, but the internet has made me hate myself, but hey, they think we're not human apparently. To my mom, De'Ara, family, friends, love all of y'all, and just know you all have impacted my life in many ways, and I'll never forget what each of you have done for me. Be blessed and remember to love yourself. Someone will say he's just playing victim and others will understand. It's no longer for me to decide because I no longer care. Now, after Ken wrote that dissertation on his story, people were kind of 50-50. I saw comments saying like, hold on, like, why are you blaming and playing the victim when you're the person who really perpetrated the situation? Like, you're not the victim here. And then I saw other comments saying like, this kind of sounds a little bit like an S note, and we can't say the S word on YouTube, so read in between the lines. I take it as this. I feel like I'm like in between both of those. I feel like Ken does play the victim in the situations where he's caught up because he's not really mentally tough enough to take the backlash. And honestly, even if you put yourself on the internet, people expect you to be so tough. They say it comes with the territory, people always talking about you and criticizing you, but I personally feel like nobody signs up to be criticized. You sign up to post videos, to make content, to put yourself out there. It does come with the territory, but nobody signs up for it. People, like he said, will sit behind closed doors and say things like, oh, well, this person's this, your hair is this, you look like this, your actions are this. When in reality, all of y'all are sinners, all of y'all make crazy mistakes behind closed door, but it's not out there for thousands of people to view and criticize you for. I do think a lot of social media users do have to be a little bit more friendly, but I don't expect them to, because to be honest, make whatever comments you want. This is an open forum for people to discuss what they want. Now, on the second hand of that, Ken, this is a very polarizing and alarming message. It almost seems like he feels like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I'm over it. I'm tired of it. If you ask me, I foresee that Ken and De'Ara will honestly eventually come to a demise. And I feel like I said that in my last video about them, but people were like, y'all don't know what's going on behind closed doors. De'Ara and Ken are going to stick to their brand. But I'm telling y'all, think about real life situations. Think about a real life person. Everybody has their magic number. And by magic number, I mean their tolerance level. Everybody has a point where they're like, enough is enough. I can't can't take it anymore. For De'Ara, it comes down to how many times are you going to allow someone to cheat on you or disrespect you or whatever the situation has been behind closed doors. And for Ken, it just comes to, damn, am I going to just keep being with a girl who I have to keep hurting and people are going to still keep chastising me over the actions that I made that I feel like are mistakes? And I just feel like they're kind of better off apart. I feel like people say, well, they have a brand together, but brands don't always have to be forever. They can form individual brands outside of this and still be very successful people. People act as if they break up, that means they're all going to go bankrupt and piss poor broke. That's not the case here. They have more than enough money, fan base, and enough stuff going on for them to still sustain a substantial social media presence as well as lifestyle. Now, my next story is about Colin Kaepernick. Now, as you all know, Colin Kaepernick was the NFL quarterback who pretty much got blackballed from the NFL because he kept advocating for black issues, black rights, police brutality on an NFL platform. And the NFL didn't feel like that was the right place to do that. And he's been since blackballed. Now, people can say what they want about that. I personally do feel like the NFL is not the place to advocate certain things, but I do feel like every person does have the right to stand for what they stand for. And he should be able to do that. But when it's going to jeopardize your job and your livelihood and your reputation, I feel like you could have thought of that, but I feel like that's what gives him the empowerment to really stand up and use such a huge platform for such an important message. Now, he came out with this book that he is a part of, and basically people are a little bit upset about the imagery. So let's read the Instagram caption when he actually announced this. He says, "Today I'm excited to share that we at Kaepernick Publishing will be releasing our first title, Abolition for the Police, the Movement for Future Without Policing in Prisons, on October 12, 2021. This anthology builds on decades of organizing and writing against police in prison and features the work of over 30 contributors, plus a reader's guides, infographics, and cover art by Emory Douglas. I'm proud to have edited this collection and hope it adds to the chorus of voices calling for a world without and beyond police and prisons." So for the most part, he got a lot of praise for this. People were really excited that he actually is doing something. Like I always tell people, when it comes to race relations, a lot of our outrage is used to monopolize our outrage, okay? A lot of our outrage is used to make money and honestly not put forth the actions that are needed to alleviate some of the things that happen within race relations. So instead of always talking the talk, continue to talk, but also make sure that you're walking the walk, whether it's on social media, within your communities, or actually having something tangible to show like, hey, I'm an advocate for this and this is the solutions that I have. Now, the problem was the imagery that he used. If you're looking at some of the comments, I'm going to read some of them. They say, "Why didn't you use the man for the cover image? I don't like this." Someone said, "This cover is a no. Stop forcing African American women to be the face of this. This is causing more harm than good. There's enough danger out there for us as is. Why make us be the voice? Our bodies and mental health have already been sacrificed enough." Someone said, "Yeah, no, black women are not your mascots, babe." People are asking him to take it down. And overall, people are just saying, stop using black women's image for your political agenda. We do not agree with this. Here's my thoughts. I am, again, kind of 50-50. I'm more 75-25. 75% of me agrees that black women's imagery is always tied to something that's super duper polarizing, can be deemed as violent, can be deemed as the strong black woman trope that honestly we need to alleviate ourselves from always being tied to. Now, the other quarter of me is feeling like this. I feel like black women need to sometimes look at themselves in the mirror. When you go and you look at all of these BLM protests and some of the advocacy that's being done for race relations, it usually is black women that are at the front of it. When you look at the footage from all of these walks and these sit-ins and all of this, a lot of black women do actually stand up and say, I'm going to fight for my black brothers. I'm going to fight for my black people. I'm going to lead and advocate. Black women, if you don't want that responsibility, then you have to figure out how to share that responsibility so that the face or the actual imagery of this movement is not just solely on black women. And I feel like black women oftentimes are very outraged about things that they actually continuously contribute to. Like, I know that people feel like, okay, black women need to take a back seat to some of these things, but at the end of the day, in the masses, in the numbers, black women are at the forefront of these movements. So for him to showcase that is honestly not something that's false or artificial. It's actually kind of a true statement. But I kind of feel like the imagery should have been maybe a black woman, a black man, a black child. That way it kind of looks like a uniform thing where it's not just black women being, you know, at the front of this, but it's all black people. Now, I will say this. The person who actually illustrated that cover is a black man. And although Colin Kaepernick is taking a lot of the heat for this, I think the energy is kind of misdirected and should be towards this black man. Why draw a woman, a black woman of that nature dark skin, afro hair, fist up in the air to be the front of this when you yourself are a black man. You could have drawn something that looks more like yourself, something that kind of exemplifies a collective of black people. The book and its whole entire premise is honestly very empowering and very needed and very necessary, but the imagery is a little bit misleading. It's not just black women that are in this fight, it should be all black people, but at the end of the day, black women do lead a lot of these fights, and a lot of black women are kind of thrown out to the wolves to be, you know, the ones to lead all of these fights. All in all, I think Colin Kaepernick's intention wasn't bad. A lot of people are dragging him. I don't think his intentions were bad, but I do think the conversation does need to be had, that the imagery needs to be a little bit more accurate and include all types of black people, men, women, children, and indifferent. Now, my last topic is City Girls versus Nicki Minaj. This topic to me is like bizarre only because I feel like the City Girls have been kind of ruining their careers slowly but surely. And that's not just because JT went to jail, came out, and all of that. JT and her whole entire thing with Lil Uzi, I feel like is not really helping her career. More people are bashing her and clowning her for being with Uzi and the way how she's always going off and how she takes up for Lil Uzi all the time than anything else. I feel like her entire persona has become the angry black woman, believe it or not. Now, what happened was Carisha, aka Young Miami from the City Girls, took to her Twitter and tagged Nicki Minaj saying, "At Nicki Minaj, can you unblock me from Instagram?" So the internet's like, hold on, bitch. What do you mean? Did you not kind of shade Nicki at one point? And, you know, she tried to defend herself, but, you know, the internet is never lacking on the receipts. They always gonna come with something to back up everything.
You know, your label mate QC, he said he wouldn't work with Nicki because of the beef with Cardi. So would you work with Nicki?
I just rather stay away from that question. Like, I don't want to get into that. But I am Team Cardi. City Girls is Team Cardi. Cardi support the City Girls.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to ask. He don't have to ask. We'll just wake up and it's a tweet about the City Girls. Like, she really loves City Girls. She support the City Girls.
So in that interview, you can see that Young Miami did try to like not answer the question, but she kind of did herself a disservice. What you cannot do is say that you're Team Cardi and then ask Nicki to unblock you. In the midst of Cardi versus Nicki or whatever it was at the time, I don't believe either one of them were trying to deal with people that were opposing them. So when you make that statement saying I'm Team Cardi, I don't think Nicki Minaj is going to like you, respectfully and rightfully so. Now that was just one thing. I don't even think what Carisha did was as big of a deal as what JT did. Now JT's tweets are always resurfacing, and she said, "I just don't like Nicki. She feel like she really run ish. Ho please. I want Cardi to take completely over. Push that to the back." Then she says, "Nicki overly happy on IG. Beyonce not saying nothing. Chill out, girl. The song good though, but calm down." Now, the only thing that I feel is kind of weird about these receipts is that there's no date on them. I don't know. You know, the blog site's a little bit messy. I wish they would have just found a date because it depends on when she said this. She probably said all of these things before she was JT of the City Girls. That notwithstanding, I don't understand why JT has never went back and had somebody cleanse her tweets, because her tweets are always resurfacing from years ago, and they're usually ignorant, colorist, disrespectful, or just downright rude. Like, you know, it's just kind of like wild, crazy, the things that come out of her mouth. I say all this to say, I feel like the rap girls, respectfully so, do not have to all like each other. I know a lot of people are for women empowerment and black women uplifting each other and coming together, but I just feel like that's easier said than done. Like, people always say that in my comments, we should be uplifting, we should be doing this. Yeah, we should, and it sounds good, but it's not practical. They don't have to like one another, but I also feel like Nicki doesn't owe them an unblock, just off the strength that they kind of picked a side when they made those comments, and it is what it is. It's crazy how Nicki Minaj just came back out with her new album, Go Stream, Beat Me Up, Scotty, as well as her 3 new songs, and now all of this talk is happening about Nicki Minaj and other rap girls. I just feel like all in all, when it comes to female rap right now, it's just kind of stagnant, and that's not just about like the actual music, it's just about who's being promoted up there too. We can really diversify the type of women that are up there. We could have the City Girls and the Mulattoes and the Cardi B's and the Nicki Minaj's, and we could also have the Chicas and the Tierra Wax and the No Names. Like, everybody can coexist, but everybody does not have to like each other. And I don't know, I just feel like female rap is really a big thing right now in hip hop, and it should be even bigger, and I hope it actually gets there. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed this quick little rundown. If you guys want me to do more of these on stories that, you know, don't necessarily need like a full-length video, but we can kind of run through my opinions, I can definitely knock them out. Definitely leave your comments down below in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys! WWE, I'm a big show, smash